everyone, welcome back to the Faithful Ewe Knitting podcast. My name's Hazel and I'm coming to you from Mid Wales in the United Kingdom. This is a fibre-based podcast where I talk about all my knitting, my spinning, my weaving, my hand dyeing, sometimes crochet, sometimes a bit of sewing, but more often than not I'm talking about knitting and spinning and weaving. I hope you're all doing well today and that you're enjoying your weekend so far and that you're having plenty of crafty time to enjoy your fibre crafts. It's very cold here today. We went out for a bit of a walk this morning and I put a YouTube shorts up which I'll link just up here, and the view was absolutely stunning across to the mountains this morning and it was worthy of being shared. Excuse me if looking a bit flushed, but I've got my fire on next to me. I'll just turn you around and show you my fire. There's my fire. Keeping me nice and toasty in here, so I may have to strip off in a minute because the ceiling's dripping water off the perspex. And I think I may have put a little bit too much wood in the fire, but never mind, at least I'm going to be nice and warm. Haven't been in here for a while, probably since the autumn now, because it's been far too cold to come up here. And the days are getting longer, so I thought, well, I'll put the fire on, I'll come up, I've brought my coffee, and we'll have a bit of a podcast. So my brother brought me a new mug, don't know whether you can see it. But it says, knitting keeps me from unravelling, which is very true indeed. I mean, I've been using knitting for over 20 years now as a way to stop me unravelling, so it's obviously working. But this fire's pumping out an awful lot of heat, you know. I'm getting really warm, the side of my face has gone really toasty. I put 4 pieces of wood in it when I came in and I think I've overloaded it and put too much in, so excuse me if I start stripping off. But I hope you're all doing well. If you enjoy my videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the bottom of the video and the like button, and that will let you know. If you hit the notification bell next to that, it'll let you know when I upload new videos and you can keep up to date with what's going on here at Faithful Ewe. But I haven't got any finished objects for you today because I've been knitting monogamously on my Into the Wild sweater, and I've got most of the body, I've got all the bodies on now. I've just got about this much left to do, so I brought that to show you. I brought my Attic 24 blanket to show you. I have got a finished object. I've got this to show you, which was my tank top, and I've brought my spinning and a future project to show you as well. So we've got quite a bit to look at today. I also want to talk to you about 2 new challenges that I'm going to be doing this year and a make-along that I'm joining with another YouTube channel which I'm going to do. It's not going to be a collaboration or anything. It could be if you wanted, but I'm going to knit along with it, and I just thought I'd mention it to you so you can have a look at her channel, and if you want to join in the make-along, I'm sure it'll be lovely that if any of my viewers want to join her make-along, I'm sure she'll be very pleased. So yeah, it's a knitted sock challenge, only knitting from hand spun yarn, but I'm sure you could join along in the sock challenge just using ordinary yarn, but we'll talk about that a bit more towards the end. And if you're interested in any of the other things going on around here, that'll be at the end of the video as well, so do hang around for that. I will put timestamps along the bottom of the video. And then if you want to skip through anything, if there's anything that you don't want to listen to, you want to hop through the video, just use the timestamps along the bottom and then you can hop along to where you want to in the video. So yeah, as I say, we've got quite a full podcast today. I'm wearing my Kate Davis Koinich sweater, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a jumper that you stick up the front. It's a little bit big on me now because I've lost weight since I finished it, and I am thinking of washing it and seeing if I can shrink it, but I'm sorry, I'm going to have to take it off. Just bear with me a sec. This fire's far too hot. Right, so this is my finished object. I may as well show you at the beginning of the podcast. This is the tank top that I was looking to make, and I've undone it 3 times now. But I'm actually very pleased with how it's turned out this time. It needs blocking and the neckband needs stretching out a bit, but I'll just stand up and show you. There you go. I really like it. I like the way it cinches in my waist here. It's kind of shaped. It's gone shaped for some reason. I didn't knit it intentionally that way. But I like the length. It maybe could have done with being a little bit longer. But I like the fact that I can wear my dress underneath. And I've still got room to move my arms and the jumper doesn't rise up. So on the neck, I'll just bring you a bit closer. On the neck here, in focus, I have done a seed stitch and I've done knit one, purl one on one row, and then the next row you do purl one, knit one. So I've done the seed stitch around the neck and that is fitting just right, I think, on the neck and just right on the shoulders. Now I've decided I'm not going to finish the sleeves at the moment. I like it the way it is. I'm wondering whether to do an I-cord bind off, but I'm not 100% sure. But as I say, I really like the way it's cinching my waist in. It's making me look a little bit slimmer, which is nice, after the indulgence over Christmas. But this dress is massive. It's a size 20 and I'm only a size 14. But yeah, it was too nice to leave in the charity shop. So yeah, I'm very pleased with my tank top. It's turned out really, really well, and so well I want to knit another one. So yeah. Right, so yeah, I really like the way it sits on my neck just here. Nice wide neck. It does need blocking, but I'm very pleased with it. So I am going to make another one. And I've got some yarn to show you. It's a little bit wet, I think it's getting dripped on. But I've got this stuff, and it's a Rico Fashion yarn, this one here. Now I've got two of those. So it is a, let's have a look. It's 50% acrylic, 23% wool, 14% mohair and 10% polyester. So I've got this colour, which I really, really like. It's got some fun sparkly bits in it, and you know me, I love sparkle. And then I've got this, which is some hand spun that I've done. Now I did this a few years ago, and there's not a lot on it. So what I was thinking was, for the main part of the body, I was thinking of doing this, even if I just only managed to get the front done. And then the rest of it I was going to do with this. And I think it goes really, really nice. The two go really nice together. So I thought that I'd just do the front in this one to start with and see how far it goes. And then I'll do the rest in this. Even if it means that I have to do the back and the neckband and the waistband in a different colour, I still think it'll look really, really nice. So yeah, this is my next project. I'm going to do this one. So yeah, I'm going to do it in this yarn, which, as I say, is a Rico yarn. Fashion Surprise it's called, and it's knit on a 7mm needle. So it'll knit up in no time. How many yards does it say is on? 85 metres on there, and there's about 100 metres on there, so I should have enough. I've got another one of those balls if I haven't got enough, but I bought it in my local fabric shop before we moved, and it was 79p a ball, and I bought it in a sale. So yeah, I've got some different colours. I've got pink one and I've got two of that colour, like a jadey colour, but I just thought that was a nice contrast. So that's going to be my next tank top. And then that might go with this dress then, because my husband said to me, I said to my husband before, do you like my top? No. So why not? I've knitted it myself, and I designed the pattern myself. He said, oh, it just doesn't go with that dress, but he says, keeping you nice and warm. Typical man who doesn't knit, he doesn't know a thing, does he? But I quite like it with this dress. I don't think it's too bad. But you've probably all got an opinion yourself. I'm sure everybody's got an opinion about what looks nice with what. Excuse me, I'm just pulling my hair back. About what looks nice with what. But yeah, so this is my tank top, and this is my next tank top. So that's that. The next thing I've been working on is my Into the Wild sweater. I've had quite a good bit of feedback on this. Everybody seems to like it, which is nice. And I've decided I'm going to make the rib longer than what it says in the pattern. I've knitted it to what it says in the pattern, and it just feels just a little tiny bit too short. And I'm thinking once it's been blocked and it's been stretched out, it's going to ride up again. So I'm going to knit it just a little bit longer than it says in the pattern. But this is my jumper, my Into the Wild sweater. See the little foxes along the top there? And then I've done all the body down to the waistband. And then, as I say, I just want to make the rib just another, probably about the same again. Another inch, inch and a half. I'm trying to get it the same length as my Birkin sweater, because I think that's a really nice length on me. And hopefully if I stretch it out, it'll be a nice width as well. So I'm really, really pleased with how it's turned out. I'm really pleased with the colours. And yeah, I'm up to the sleeves. I'm going to start the sleeves. Now I'm wondering whether just to do short sleeves with an I-cord bind off or something, because then I can wear it in the spring and the autumn. But I'm thinking now it's more a winter jumper, isn't it, really? Because it's a Icelandic letlopi, and it's an Aran weight and it's quite thick, so it might be better as a winter jumper. So I don't know, I might do the sleeves, I don't know, I haven't decided yet. I'm going to start them today. But yeah, there's my Into the Wild sweater. So yeah, I'm really pleased. It's all knit from stash. It's wool I'd bought for another sweater, the Ridari sweater, and I just wasn't loving the Ridari pattern. But I've decided to, oh, I've lost some stitches. I decided to do the Into the Wild sweater. I saw the pattern, and I'm just picking my stitches up, sorry. I saw the pattern and I just fell in love with it, and I thought, you know, that is just the wool to go with that pattern. So I just love this blue colour. I think the blue is gorgeous. So, and what was left of the cream and the brown was off my Maya cardigan, and then the black colour is my hand spun. That is Welsh Mountain. So yeah, very pleased, very pleased. It's a lovely pattern to knit. The only problem I had was I haven't knit with 3 colours in colour work before, and it was a bit of a challenge. Sorry, take my glasses off again. It was a bit of a challenge managing the 3 colours, because you've got to do 2 in one hand and 1 in the other, and there's quite a long gap in some places, like 7 stitches or 8 stitches on one colour. So then you've got to carry that over the needle and then carry on knitting along the back, and it just got a bit tricky at some points, but I managed it. I've got it done. I've got this far in 3 weeks. I started it for my first podcast of the year, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So I'm hoping to get that finished by the end of the month. I've still got quite a bit of yarn left. Excuse the rustle. I've still got 7 balls of yarn left, and I'm thinking I'm only going to use another 1. So I might get another sweater out of it. So Emily Kate made, I don't know whether anyone else watches her. Emily Kate made this, I think her channel's called, and she's just done a Jennifer Steingaz pattern, and it's got like little trees on it, and I'm thinking, oh, do you know that I might knit that in the rest of this yarn. See how much I've got left, because I do have a red colour that I could use for the trees, because I love the colour work that she did on hers. She's done it in like this greeny grey colour, and then she's done like the yoke here in like a pinky purple colour, and it was absolutely gorgeous. So I'm thinking, ooh, I'd quite like to make that myself, and yeah, do the yoke in some red maybe, or some purple. I've got some purple as well. I've got a variegated sort of red and purple in an Aran or a chunky weight in the house, so I'm thinking I might do it with that, but we'll have to see how much yarn's left after that. So yeah, let me just get my coffee. That fire's cooling down a little bit now. Right, so I hope the light doesn't fade too much, but time's marching on. It's probably getting on for about 4 o'clock, and it's going dark here about 4:30, 4:45 at the moment. So I'll do my best to get finished. But this is my Attic 24 blanket. If you've been following me for a long time, I've been doing this since last year. And I'm halfway now. This is that's the first half. Then that's my first half, and then that's my second half, and it's quite long. It's about 2 metres long, 1.5 metres long, I think. Let's have a look. There's 1 metre. Yeah, it's 1.5 meters that way, and it's probably about 1 meter that way, and I'm only halfway, so it's going to be a really, really big blanket. Still got loads of yarn left, so I may have enough for something else. But I'm loving this pink colour. That one here. It's looking more red in the picture, but it's a lovely pink. It's called Raspberry. But it's done in Stylecraft yarn, and I'm not overly keen on Stylecraft yarns. But it's nice to work with, and it's been a fun project to make. So as I say, I'm halfway. I'm up to row 45. I mean, I don't suppose I have to do the whole 90 rows, but yeah, I put it down for a while because I was getting a bit bored. So I haven't done too much since I last seen you. I've probably done about that much since I last seen you. I was on about row 36, I think. So I've done about 9 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I was probably done about 12 rows, about that many since I last saw you. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's a lovely blanket. It's turning out really, really well. Colours are really nice. Loving the stripes. And I'm thinking of having it as a bed blanket for the summer. As a nice bright blanket for the summer. So that's my Attic 24 blanket. They're available on Wool Warehouse if anyone's interested. I think the price has gone up to about £30 now. This all the wool and the pattern. When I got it was £27, I think. And I got one and my mum got one. I'm halfway through mine and she's not even started hers. But we did buy the granny square blankets. And I don't know if any of you seen some of my past podcasts, but I made the first stripe of the granny squares. I think it's 13 squares, and I got really bored. I just wasn't in the mood for granny squares. So I ended up making it into a scarf. And to any of you who are interested, I wasn't decided who to give it to. Well, it went to my mum. And my mum loves it. She really does. She really likes it. It turned out really, really well. I put a link to in the eye thing at the top here to the video that it's linked to, so you can have a look at it. And a picture just here so you can see it. But yeah, it turned out really well and she really liked it. And she ended up saying to me, "Oh, you've made me something like this before." And I hadn't remembered that when I made my mother-in-law a crochet square scarf years ago, it was about 2.5 meters long, and it was about 10-15 years ago I made it. Well, I made 2, didn't I? And I made one for my mum and one for my mother-in-law. And thinking back on it now, I can remember making 2 and getting one finished on Christmas Day. So, story of my life that with gift knits. I always think, oh, I'll make this and make that. Christmas Eve comes and I'm still making. So yeah, so that's where the scarf went. She's exceedingly happy, and yeah, she seems to like my crochet makes. So that was good. The scarf's gone to a nice home. So that's my Attic 24 blanket. So the only other thing I've got to show you today is the Advent spin along. Now I don't know whether you were tuned in for my Advent spin along for my Vlogmas, and what I did was I did 24 baubles full of fibre and 24 packs in a shoebox covered in Christmas paper, and they had things like beads and buttons and bells and sequins and bits of threads, bits of old bits of wool yarn, and it was all made up into an art yarn. Now I've done 3 skeins, still got one to do. But these are the 3 that we've done so far, and I am really, really loving this yarn. There we go, there's the 3. They jingle, definite jingle bells. But there's the first one, and we've got some lovely sequins going on here, and we've got some locks, so we've got some sparkle, and we've got a bell, and we've got some beads. So yeah, I've got some bits of art yarn in it as well that I've spun that I didn't know what to do with. So that's one, and then this is the other one. More bells, more funky, nice bright colours, locks, bits of threads. So yeah, as you can see, it's a really fun yarn. This one I think is the one which had lots of locks in it. So these are my favourite types of yarns to spin. I love being able to add lots of texture. I love being able to put add-ins in. And I've yet to spin with shells. I have a friend who's recently moved away, and she spun a yarn with shells in, and it looked beautiful. And I've always wanted to do it, and I've got a necklace in my workshop and it's got lots of little tiny shells all over it. So I'm thinking of taking that apart and making that into a summer spin along and making it into a shawl, or using parts of it into a shawl. But I've just got to come up with the colours to go with it. But I am thinking of the sea. I'm thinking of blue, like a grey colour, and a gold for the sun, and maybe a little bit of red for a sunset type theme. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking for that one. But this is the last one that I spun, and there's lots of locks in this one. There is bells as well, and there's beads, but I just love the mix of colours in this one. There's a lot of lovely colours. So a lot of it is Hilltop Cloud yarn, because we get quite a lot of that round here because she doesn't live that far away. And yeah, lots of fun going on and lots of jingle. Don't know if you can hear that, but yeah, they're the 3 skeins I've done so far. Now the 4th one, I decided I'm not going to put it into anything. I'm going to put it for sale, because you all seem to enjoy it that much, the yarn that I've spun, these yarns that I've spun, that I thought the last one, I'm going to spin it up. I'm going to do what I've done with these ones, and I'm going to put it for sale in my shop. And then if anybody does want it, look at the colouring in that. Isn't that lovely? That lovely pink. Let me see if I can get it in focus. That lovely pink. So yeah, I'm thinking of popping it for sale in my shop and not putting it in this. So whatever I knit or weave is going to have to be enough in these 3 skeins. So what I thought was, last night, let me just get into my bag, I was having a rummage, excuse the rustling again, but I have to bring everything up the garden in plastic bags because I'm at the top of the garden in the shed, next to the chickens. So they've just had their food. They had porridge this morning, and I'm in here talking to you. So, oh, I've still got a ball in here somewhere. There it is. Right. So I've been thinking, I've emptied my 20 or 24 inch loom. I can't remember what size it is. Anyway, I've emptied my weaving loom and got that fabric off now that I finished, the Jacob fabric that I finished. And I thought what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, I'm going to weave on that and weave this yarn, because I've got an art yarn heddle, and I thought that I'd use that. It's got nice big holes, nice, very few teeth along the heddle, and it means then I can weave with art yarns. So what I've thought is, and what I've done, is I've spun up these gorgeous, gorgeous pink. And again, if there's any left, it'll be for sale in my shop. And what I did was I had a bat that I'd done a couple of years ago, and it had silk and cashmere and merino and alpaca and locks and all sorts of fun stuff, some Angelina sparkle in it, and yes, it was just a really, really nice bat to spin. And it gave me a lot of joy spinning it last night. So this is the first one. This is the first one. And it's got lots of colours in it, some greens, some blue, and then applied it with the same as what I applied the other one with, and that's the sequin goldy coloured thread. So that's one of them. And then this is the other one. There you go. You can see the sequins and the sparkle, which is really nice. And it's just got lots and lots of colours in it. So what I'm going to do is, for the warp thread, I'm going to use this. But I've also found these Angora in my stash. These ones. I've got 2 black and I've got this green colour. So I'm going to put all that together, and that's going to be the weft, the warp, this thread here. And then these ones are going to be what do the main part of the weave, and are going to do that way. So I reckon I've got about 150 metres of this sparkle. So that will be enough to make into a shawl. So I'm going to do it into an art yarn shawl, so it's not going to be tightly packed together, but it's going to be quite airy, quite loose, quite see-through, and then you'll be able to see all the beads, all the bells and everything, the sequins and everything else that's in it. So that's what I'm going to be doing tonight. I'm going to warp up the loom tonight, and I'm going to do black, this lovely jadey green colour, and then some of this with it as well, because I'm only going to need about 8 or 9 threads, so I'm going to double up on this and put 2 threads of this one to 1 thread of each of these. So that's going to be that, and then that's then going to show off the colouring that's in this middle one here, in this one here. So yeah, so it's going to emphasise and bring out all the bold colours that are then in the yarn. So then what's left from that, from this one, and then the last one of these are going to be available for sale in my shop. And then you can then purchase that and make something with it yourself and have a little reminder of our Vlogmas spin along. So I've really enjoyed doing it. I need to finish the last skein, as I say, but I'm doing a shop update at the end of this week and the last week of the month, and then it'll be for sale in my shop. So I'll probably do a shop update for the Saturday. I'm not sure on the date today, but I'll put it in the description, in the little thing here for you, and a link to my shop. So thank you to anybody who's been purchasing from my shop recently. It's very thank you very much. It's been a blessing to see things beginning to move in my shop, so thank you. Thank you to all my subscribers and all my supporters. It's lovely that people are starting to come along and see all my work, so yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I think that's all my craft stuff I've got to share with you today. Right, so I haven't got any more things to show you making wise, but I think that's all the craft stuff I've got for you today. But I just thought that I'd share a couple of things that I'm going to be doing for this year. I've set myself a couple of challenges, and the first one is not to buy any yarn. Now I've been doing this a yarn fast since August 2021. I bought yarn once, and that was at Christmas that just gone, and I bought some stuff in the charity shop that was 100% wool. It was 49p a ball, and it was Jacob sheep wool and Shetland wool, and it was far too nice to leave in the charity shop, and they offered it me for 49p a ball if I took the lot. So I took the lot, and there was about 13 or 15 balls, something like that, and it was too good to leave there, so I bought it. And it was a bargain. It cost me about, I think for everything that I took, it cost me about £10 or £11, and I've got about 4 jumpers worth weight of yarn. So yeah, it was definitely worth purchasing, and I couldn't leave it there for that. So that's the only thing I've bought since August 2021. Now I was thinking of carrying that on now and doing from now all the way into January next year and not buying any more yarn. And just knitting from stash. Now I don't know whether any of you watch Retro Claude, but she set herself a challenge of only knitting things from stash, and what she did was she went through her stash and she worked out how many balls, 50-gram balls she had in her stash by the meterage, and then she's only knitting from that and checking it off her tick list so that she can see how her stash is coming down. So I'm thinking of doing that, and I'll do that as a video. Going through my stash, and we'll have a lot of fun having a look at all the yarn that I've got, and I'll work out how much I've got, and then when I'm knitting I can just shop from my own stash, my own wool pantry, and put that into my jumpers and my sweaters and my hats and things like that, and my weaving as well. I have a lot. I have a big plastic box of odd balls, and then I have bags as well with odd balls in that have like finished balls that you've finished from projects that you've been doing. I've got loads of that. I've also got my weaving box with loads of wool in there. I've got all my hand spun, I've got a cabinet, I've got 2 suitcases. I've also got all my 100% wool that I keep. I've got also under the stairs, I've got some boxes and some baskets of yarn as well. So there's loads and it's everywhere. I've also got my cones of yarn that I keep in this shed because it's the only dry place that I've got out the way of the moths. So that lives in here, and that's in the cupboard just behind the camera, where I keep all my 100% wool. So yeah, I've got a lot of it and it's everywhere. I've got it in the big cupboard in the kitchen on the top shelf there. And then that's not including the fabric that I've got and all the sheep fleece that I've got. And my friend will know, my friend Gwen, if you're watching, you'll know what it's like having fleece and not being able to say no to a farmer when he offers it you for free and says, would you like to do something with this? And it's like, I can't say no, I've got to say yes. I've got loads of it. It's in wheelie bins, it's in a big metal box, it's in a cupboard, it's in storage boxes, it's under the stairs in the garage, it is everywhere. So I need to get a handle on it, because heaven forbid if anything ever happens to me, my husband's just going to take the lot and it's going to end up in a skip, and I'd rather it got used. So he's not a knitter, he doesn't appreciate things like that, he's a man, and yeah, I don't mean to be derogatory, but people who don't knit don't appreciate the value of the things that you've collected over the years, and yeah, I want to enjoy it while I can. So I'm going to do the Knit from Stash challenge this year, 2023, and I'll encourage you all to come along with me. If you've got a stash at home, why not shop from your pantry when it comes to looking for patterns on Ravelry, and knit from what you've got and make things from what you've got instead of going out and buying more. Because while so many people are struggling with money and struggling with trying to pay the bills, I think it's a good way of being able to knit the things that you like, but use the yarn that's brought you joy when you've bought it. Use what you've already got and have that experience of being joyful, of squishing, of sniffing, of doing those things you do in the wool shop, but do it in your pantry. Do it in the boxes that you've already got and see what you can find. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be finding patterns that you can knit for free on Ravelry. I've done my Make 9, I'll put the link to the video just up here for you, and I think all but 2, I think 7 of them were free patterns and 2 of them weren't. So I think that is a good way to go. If you can find a pattern that's free, then why not start with my hat pattern that is on my blog. I've got a 2x2 rib hat pattern that I made for my husband, and the pattern is for free on my blog. So I'll put a link in the description bar below. Have a look at that. Go and have a look in your pantry, and why not knit the hat? And I'll knit one as well. I've got one here which I wear all the time. I knit this for my husband first off, but he finds wool really itchy and a bit agitating. So yeah, it's this hat here. So why not have a go of knitting it? I'll put a link in the description bar, and this could be your first project to make knitting from stash this year. And then when we've all done this, I'll start as well. We can knit something else and knit something else from stash. I quite fancy doing a colour work from stash because I've got lots of colours. Maybe a pair of mittens or something, a pair of fingerless gloves with a band here with a bit of colour work on. That would be nice, wouldn't it? So yeah, that's my first challenge, is the Knit from Stash 2023 challenge. And as I say, I've been doing it for the last 12 months. Everything I show you on my podcast is yarn that is from my stash. And even my Attic 24 blanket, I've had that for 3 years since I moved in this house. And I'm finally using the yarn. So yeah, it's a good way of using stuff up. And it's also a good way for me to use up stuff that I do when I'm spinning as well. And instead of it just sitting in the cupboard, it can have a purpose and have a use. So that's another reason for doing it as well. So that's good. But there's only so many jumpers you can make for yourself, isn't there? I'm going to need a cupboard just for jumpers at this rate. They're all in my wardrobe, and all my clothes have all got squashed down the bottom of the wardrobe, and the jumpers are all hanging up nicely on hangers, all folded over the hanger so that they don't get too crushed and stretched. So yeah, I could do the cupboards really just for jumpers. Getting that many. I'm sure you've all got the same problem though, wherever you are. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is my woolen mitten on YouTube. I'll put a link here for you. She is running a spin along and knit along on her channel, and it is knitting socks from hand spun yarn. Now that appeals to me because I don't like commercial yarns loaded with acrylic and loaded with plastic. I can't afford to buy sock yarns because they're too expensive, and that doesn't fit my knit from stash challenge for this year. So when I heard of the spin along making socks, where you spin the yarn, make the socks, that appealed to me because I thought I've got some odd skeins in my spinning cupboard where I keep all my yarns from spinning. I'll put a link to that video up here for you. I've got odd ones which have got like 100 metres, 200 metres of yarn on them, and I'm thinking it's a good way for me to use those yarns, and then when I make my next pair I can tailor make the fibre to knit the socks, because she was recommending on her video the other day that you use part alpaca and part merino. Now I've got loads of alpaca, I get it locally here. I've got a lovely brown this colour, which I knit my variegated hat, my tam, out of when I did that hand spun hat late last year. And I've got some grey alpaca and I've got some cream alpaca. I think I've got some white as well somewhere. So what I thought was that I'll have a go at blending my own socks as well, and then spin the yarn and knit the socks. Now I love that idea. That to me really appeals to me because it really fits with my self-sufficiency hat that I've got on at the moment as well. So yeah, that's the second one. So if you'd like to join in with that, I'm sure you could join in and just knit the socks, but knit it from stash. And I think that I'll do that on this channel, where we'll spend, I don't know, till the summer making a pair of socks, because that's probably how long it'll take me to make them. So we'll say from today until the beginning of July we will do a knit along and we will do socks. So that then gives me an incentive to start my socks. But I'm going to do the spinning the wool to make socks. But if you want to join in my challenge here on my channel, I'm going to do it where you knit a pair of socks from stash. It can be any yarn you want, it can be acrylic, it can be wool, it can be whatever it is that you've got in stash that you'd like to knit into a pair of socks. And then we'll do that together and we'll see how we get on. So I might do a prize at the end of it, we'll see, because it's a bit difficult sending things abroad, isn't it? Especially from the UK at the moment. It's been really difficult since Brexit. So yeah, we'll just see how we get on, and we'll just do the socks and we'll knit along together, because that'll be fun, won't it? So yeah, we'll start that from today. And if you use the hashtag on my Instagram feed, hashtag Faithful Ewe, post your pictures on there and let me see the socks that you're knitting and the wool that you're using. Feel free to use that anytime you want to show me any of the makes that you're making. If I inspire you to make something, use my Faithful Ewe hashtag on Instagram and share your makes on my hashtag and let me have a look at what you're doing, because I love to be nosy at what everybody's doing. Everyone's nosy at what I'm doing, but let me be nosy and let me enjoy what you're doing, because I love nothing better than having a good nose at someone else's projects. It's great when you go to someone's house and they're in it, you say, ooh, let me see what you're making. So let me see what you're making and stick it on my hashtag Faithful Ewe on Instagram, and start sharing some of your makes with me and start showing me what you're up to, and let's make that a thing on Instagram for my Instagram page. I've also got a Facebook page, and it's the Faithful Ewe Knitting Podcast Facebook page, and we've also got a group on there as well. So if any of you would like to join in the chat on the Faithful Ewe knitting group, then come along over to the Facebook page and I'll pop a link on the Facebook page for you to join the group as well, and we can have a chatter. I was going to do a knit and natter, but I haven't been able to upgrade my broadband yet, and we are still on the old-fashioned wind-up broadband and it is painfully slow. And if we get a storm, there's just no way I can do anything on it. So yeah, if you wanted to join a knit and natter, unfortunately it's going to have to wait until next year now, when I renew my contract and I can go onto broadband. So I will see if I can do a Zoom. I'll have a little look into that and maybe we can do a Zoom session. But it's being able to do it when my husband's not around, so I'm not disturbing him as well. And I don't have any broadband in here or in the garage. So we'll have to see what we can do, see how we can sort that out. But that will be distance in the future. So we'll use the group for now on Facebook and we'll have a little chat on there. Also, if anyone would like to buy me a cup of coffee, I have a coffee account, a Ko-fi account, and there's a link in the description bar below. And I will buy a cup of coffee with it when I go to the coffee shop and upload my videos, because I've started using a coffee shop or the library to put my videos up online. So yeah, it's a bit of a nuisance having to drive 15 minutes to be able to use the broadband. But it's taken me 8 hours to upload a half-hour video, so it's just getting silly. So yeah, that's what I will be doing this week, uploading videos in the cafe. So if any of you would like to buy me a coffee, there is a link in the description bar below. And I'm also wanting to buy a new camera as well for my podcast, because this one's still recording me upside down. And the more I'm using it, the more things are starting to fall off and break on it. So yeah, never mind. We just have to work with what we've got, don't we? And see how we get on. So yeah, anyway, I think that's all my waffle for today. Life stuff, I'm just working on my videos most of the time now, because I'm working on my other channel as well. I have another channel called Wildwood Cottage Diary that's in the link in the description bar. And that's where I blog my sort of daily life here, living in Wales in a cottage near the woods. So I live on the edge of forestry land, and it's a beautiful place, and I want to share that with everybody that is interested in having a look. So I do different challenges on there. My challenge for this year on that channel is making clothes for my wardrobe for free. I'm doing a charity shop free year as well, where I'm not going to go and buy anything in the charity shops this year. I have far too much stuff in my house, far too many clothes, and I've decided that I'm going to make my own clothes and make my own wardrobe instead of going to the charity shop and spending money all the time, because it just doesn't work, does it? We end up just replacing the clothes shops for charity shops, and then we just end up spending more money because everything's so cheap in there. So yeah, that's my challenge for myself on my other channel. So if you're interested in anything about the garden, the chickens or anything like that, you'll find that over there. So yeah, also I've done the first two videos of the drum carder series that I'm doing, and the first one went up yesterday, the second one's going up Wednesday in this week, and then I'm going to finish recording the third, the fourth and the fifth. And then we'll see what we're going to make with the yarn, the fibre and the yarn that comes off the drum carder and the spinning wheel. So that's fun. So look out for that. So all that being said, that's it for today. I've got nothing else to share with you. There's a lot to get through, because sorry I wasn't here last week, but I just felt like I just didn't have anything to share. I didn't know what to say. And I thought, you know what, I'm just not going to bother this week. So I didn't. Anyway, if you do like my video, please do like and subscribe. Please do hit the notification bell, and that will tell you when I upload new videos. There's plenty to come in the next few weeks. I've got quite a bit to go up onto the internet for you, onto YouTube, and quite a bit still to record and to come for February. So if you do like my video, please do like and subscribe. Please do hit the notification bell. Let's keep up to date. And thank you for subscribing if you already do, and thank you to all my viewers, all my returning viewers, young and old, and it's lovely to have you here. Do comment in the comment section below. I do love talking to you all, and I'm going to go in because it's getting dark. So have a lovely weekend, enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you soon. Take care now, bye for now, bye bye.